Today is the third Sunday of Advent. Our Gospel text is taken from the first chapter of John, verses 6 through 8 and 19 through 28. It's the story of John the Baptist. There's a couple of reflections that I would like to point to in this. First of all, the profound one of what does it mean to be a human being? John the Baptist could have done many things. Each of us has the option of many selves. There's only one self that I am in the end. Authentic existence is a journey towards the truth of who I am. The corollary of this is the power of witness when someone who is well and truly on that journey to being who they are is present. It is transforming. It is life-giving. It is greatly constructive. We find this in John the Baptist. But I begin with a very simple and beautiful quotation from Flannery O'Connor, the American short story writer. She kept a prayer journal. In 1946, she wrote this very simple and beautiful statement. Don't let me ever think, dear God, that I was anything but the instrument for your story. This is a profoundly theological statement. She's in effect saying that we are at our best, we thrive, we are fulfilled, we give our best contribution to the world when we are in union with God. When we seek out, to the best of our ability, submit to God's will. This is discovery, not invention, the true self. It is a question of graced emergence, not willful mastery. And so John the Baptist is who he is. The gospel text says, there was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light. And as he says of himself, I'm not the Messiah. I'm not Elijah. I'm John. That's his contribution to the world. If he gets sidetracked, it's a disaster for us. John does not get sidetracked. There's a great paradox in this very word, existence. And it means that our journey to the true self is a paradoxical one, not always easily understood or comprehended, not always comfortable. But our English word exist comes from two Latin words meaning ex, meaning outside, stare, meaning to stand. To be who I am, I must stand outside myself. In order to live, I must die. The grain of wheat, if it doesn't die, remains just a grain. Indeed, is this not to be expected? Is it not implicit in the fact that we believe we are made in the image and likeness of God, and our God is a self-emptying God, as is evident in Jesus, in his life, death, and resurrection? See, for example, Philippians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. His state was divine. He didn't cling to his equality with God. He emptied himself. This self-emptying is an essential part of personhood, what it means to be a person, to leave self behind. Pope Francis, in his recent encyclical, Fratelli Tutti, sums this up nicely. He writes, in the depths of every heart, love creates bonds and expands existence. For it draws people out of themselves and towards others. Since we were made for love, In each one of us, a law of ecstasis seems to operate. The lover goes outside the self to find a fuller existence in another. And there Pope Francis is quoting Karol Wojtyła. For this reason, we always have to take up the challenge of moving beyond ourselves. And there Pope Francis is quoting Father Karl Rahner. These words of Pope Francis actually give us the key to his encyclical Fratelli Tutti, but it also gives us a key to the meaning of existence. What does it mean to be a human being? In a very ultimate, absolute sort of way. It also gives us a key to the gospel text today, the role of John the Baptist. Human existence, that is just one more expression of the prevailing culture, of social status, of one person's idea of success, maybe an expression of one's deepest anxieties, fears, maybe an expression of one's selfishness, ego. Witnesses to our worst possibilities, actually. Our best possibilities are when we're able to embark on the self-surrender, the self-emptying, the purification, the graced emergence, which allows the fact that we're made in the image and likeness of God to shine out. Our greatest poet, Les Murray, wrote an essay in 1982, which was characteristically Les, some religious stuff I know about Australia. In there, he makes a statement, which I think is even more topical today, on the power of presence, the power of bearing witness through authentic existence. He writes, "By now, liberal humanism is as badly fragmented by dissension as our witness ever was. And its fiercest adherents are often covertly uneasy at its lack of gentleness, its readiness to force the facts, and its desolate thisworldliness. And often when people who subscribe to it relax for a moment, their eyes are seen to contain an almost desperate appeal. Please, prove us wrong. Make us believe there is more to it than this. Show us your God and that grace you talk about. We are more widely judged on our own best terms than we think, and more insistently expected to be the keepers of the dimension of depth than we find comfortable.